What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Thoughts Unchained Podcast. My name is Armaan, and this is, I believe, episode 12. I'm joined today by my guests and slash buddies, friends, Adhrit, Anaam, and Zora. And this is a podcast where we discuss, I say we, meaning that usually I'm joined by my co-host Devin, who couldn't make it this time, but we discuss a variety of topics from philosophy to societal norms, aspects of our lifestyle, and a whole lot more. And in this episode, we're going to be going over the topic of role models, celebrities, privacy, a whole lot more relating to these topics. But first and foremost, how is everybody doing?
Good.
Very good.
Doing very good, man. Had a great day. It's not too hot inside. Crazy.
Yeah, man, it's not nice when it's too hot inside. Remember the heat wave we recently had?
Yeah, man. That was pretty
That was
crazy,
terrible.
man. I couldn't live in my room. I literally couldn't live in my room. I'd
Yo.
come here so tired that I wouldn't feel the heat. I'd just pass out.
I had my fan on the highest setting, blasting in my face, and it was just blasting hot air towards me.
Yeah, my fan blew up 4 times. I'm joking.
Unlucky.
No, I didn't. But it's fine.
What
It's
have you
not really-
guys been up to lately? How have things been recently for you guys?
Crazy stuff, not gonna lie. I got my first aid training done today. I'm getting a lot of stuff done for university.
Oh, nice.
Crazy stuff, not gonna lie. Having fun. Summer break's awesome. Went to school for 2 weeks after school ended. Yeah.
That's good. Sounds pretty hoopty, as the kids would say. Adrit knows what I'm talking about.
The youngins.
The youngins.
The
Young
ones-
bloods.
Hear ye.
Adrit, how about you? How have
Thou
things
shalt
been?
speak now.
How have things been for you during the summer?
Oh, man. Pre-count 11. Summer school, it's the most fun course you can do. So much learning happening, and everything's not condensed into 3 minutes. Literally, you know what we went over? The XY vertex, like the forms, like
Oh,
the
man.
main part of that unit. We did it all in an hour, and she's like, "Nice, good progress. We have 5 unit tests left. There's 2 weeks plus a final. How are we gonna do this?
That is
5 unit tests
that's
in
a
2
crunch.
weeks with the final.
5 unit tests in 2 weeks with the. I'm just putting that in
That's pretty
perspective.
fun though.
No, they're all separate.
Oh, that's crazy.
That
What?
does sound like a crunch.
Is that all you
Sounds
have to say? Is that all you have to say? That's crazy.
That's 2 tests
Just a tiny
in 1
crunch.
week. And then
No, it's 4.
last
It's 4. The fifth
4?
one happened today. The fifth one, like the first one, happened today at Treg, and then
Okay.
the 4
So at least
so you got 2
plus
and
a final.
2.
at least
Oh,
one's out of the way. That's good.
No, Anaam. The last week is a final. The last August 4th is the final, so I have to do 4 tests before August 4th.
Good luck.
That's just over 2 weeks. That's barely 2 weeks. Wow, I'm just looking at my calendar right now.
Benefit beat.
This
Well,
is
good luck. That's
this
all I
is
can say.
very tough. Zora, how about yourself? Last time I saw you was recently at like a meeting. How have you been doing?
I've been chilling, enjoying the summer break, playing some video games, and
Playing
I've
too
been
much video
going
games.
a tad bit, and I've been going to camp, and so that's where I spend, I guess, most of
Sophisticated
my
individual.
mornings and half of the afternoons.
I see.
pretty
I
fun.
see.
Sophisticated man.
High class
I have a
individual.
nasty mask fan. Like, it's like an obvious line.
You have a nasty mask? What?
Mask
Mask
tan.
So, like, it looks like my sideburns. So this thing I have here on my side. It's funny.
I've
It's like what you
never.
see, like, on the fake
And-
memes.
Fake
I
beard?
never-
New beard?
It's a tan beard, basically.
I can just imagine this guy with a full set of like facial hair. Such a culture shock.
I already have it.
Imagine him. He only has a pedo
I already
stash.
do.
He only has that little stash. I know he does.
He has this little like beard thingy.
No, pedo stash.
What's what?
Pedo stash? It's like a
Oh my god. Chill
It's
out.
a very,
It's
very
pretty
interesting way to
persistent.
describe it. I think that this is probably a good time to segue into our main topic, which has to do with celebrities, role models, privacy, and just who we look up to. And I think that the first place I really wanted to start off was role models. And I remember that we've talked before that role models they could really be anyone. Like I know that some of us have discussed this in like other clubs and stuff like that, that role models could be like parents, siblings, friends. Um, in your guys' opinion, who do you think are generally people's role models? Do you think it's generally parents? Do you think it's generally like other family members, friends? Anna, maybe we can start with you, then maybe Adrit, maybe Zora.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah, yeah.
think? Or whoever wants
Um,
to start.
I'll start off. It's like a lot. So for like, personally, like myself, it's like my role models are my parents and my sister, and like there's of course other people I look up to. Like there's actors, and then there's some teachers as well. Because as I've been growing up, I've been like half my life is basically going to school. So like a lot of teachers have like shaped me in a way basically because I look up to them, and it's like, oh, they're doing this, this, this. It's like I should be doing this too, or I should be doing similar things, and like they help you just like get an open mind basically and just look around, and like it's like, for example, like even in high school there's some teachers that I've always like Miss Ohana. She does so much for the school, and you just look up to her and be like, oh yeah, take action on things that taken action on, like things like that. So I think a lot of like kids our age right now probably have like teachers, some like famous players or actors or actresses, and like parents. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lee.
Oh, I think it's role models. It depends who, like, your values are, where your values come from, and how you've been raised. Because some people have role models like teachers, and I'm said, and some people have a lot of actor role models. Some people just look up to the people that they listen music to. It doesn't really matter what they do. That's pretty bad, like, considering that most of music today is rap. And there's a lot of bad people in rap that you shouldn't look up to. That's that's besides the point. Most people's role models, I think, are people that have been in their life for a long time, like your parents or something like that. Or it could be your teachers, like Anam said. But for me, it's a combination of my parents and like good singers and actors that I know are good or perceive themselves to be good. A name would be something like LeBron James, Trey Young, Giannis, Devin Booker. Those guys are all like good individuals. I feel like they have like they're like true from the heart, unlike these other people who just do this all for the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. Zora, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a lot of like what you spend your oh, sorry, this push your talk went off. A lot of like what you spend your time doing and who you're with and who you're around. And so, of course, the family plays a factor in that, and teachers, like Anna mentioned and Adri both mentioned, they must play a part in it because you're spending almost a lot of your day at school as a student, and of course, they have some sort of role in the way they affect you in life. And I also would say that celebrities, as when you watch them on TV, when you watch them on your phone, like you look up to them, you see something, and you only keep watching because you like it. And so they, of course, play a part. And like some athletes that I name would be like Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Joakim Noah. Like all three players are like some people that people can look up to and just see it playing on the screen and be like, yeah, that's someone who's a good person, who is a role model.
I think that those are
Yeah.
some really good points that you guys brought up. I found it really interesting that Zora, I felt like you were kind of out of the box with like the three players you mentioned, but I wouldn't really think of them at first, but that's a good point that you could, if you view them as role models, because you see something in them that's really interesting. I think there's a lot of commonality that you guys had between them being your parents. It could be some family members. You mentioned some celebrities who you perceive to have positive traits in them and like taking the good from them. uh, Something I found really interesting that you guys brought up a lot was teachers, because you brought up some good points that you spend a lot of time at school and you see a lot out of them, and that they could have a big influence on us. Um, what sort of an influence do you guys think that teachers could have in terms of like maybe a relationship? I didn't really intend to talk about it, but it's a really interesting point that you raised. How do you think that teachers in particular could have a big impact on um, maybe children or students?
There's like many things, like teachers, social justice, and many of these clubs act up on these things. Anyone in like a club and students want to join that club later on. So students want to go and take like action and join it because they think it's like a reason or something to be in. And they want to be a part of it. And when they're a part of it, they see how many like changes they can make in life and everything like that. So I feel
It's like, I wouldn't say look up to, but like, yo, I respect what he's doing. Success benefit. I really like the entrepreneur stuff, man. Seems pretty cool. Seems like a cool concept.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's cool to see someone else like venturing into social media and actually creating a name for themselves, success benefit, and it's nice to
Oh
see.
my god, guys, I'm sorry. There's a spider on my wall. I gotta do
fight
something.
the spider. But I
You know,
want to
double
say
cup
to
cup for a
Adri, when
Slurpee.
he was saying, "Oh, they're not role models," like it's glorified. But I would say, like, I like appreciate things some people do. When you see like the Black Lives Matters groups and everything, teachers when they create things like this, it's like students get a purpose to be a part of things, and it's like it goes in their mindset, I guess. That yeah, if you think something's wrong, take action. So that's how teachers can like be a huge influence on students, in my perspective. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah, I think
what?
yeah, you
Oh,
can
you wanna
continue.
go?
No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Teacher is pretty cool, because you do think of them like, oh, like look at these guys. They're so old. They're not. I mean, no, 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 not that
It's
old.
a common
Not trying to
perception, right?
disrespect.
That's what you're saying.
They have more experience than us. They have more like they spent more time in the world. They know more stuff. And then when you see them do certain things, you're like, oh, that seems good. But that's also a bad thing. Some teach not every teacher is good. That should just be common knowledge. Not every teacher is good. So you gotta again be careful who you pick as your role models. Some people can be really bad role models because there are some teachers like I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, and I don't want to name drop either. But there are some teachers that do bad things and act in a certain way, but I just don't look up to them, and I think that they're doing a bad job with teachers. But I just want to say that. It's not even off the topic.
I definitely agree with the Adrit. There's of course some teachers that they're not doing something correctly, of course, and students should have like that, common sense as well. Like this is not the right role model, but it depends on the person as well, like my values and morals. Some teachers I would definitely not look up to because not everyone is like someone who everyone would look up to. Everyone has their choices and things.
Yeah, that's also that brings up another point in my mind. What's it called? Teachers, um, like they're like looked up in the school system, right? Like looked up to. People think of them as role models, but that's the problem. If people go in with the perception that they're all good people, all of them are good role models, which can be true. It just depends on your school, really. It could be any school. But that's a bad thing because every student's going to go into that mindset, oh, this is a good person, this is a good person, not even knowing what they've done, how they act as a person. That's one of the flaws, I think, with finding
That
role models of stuff.
that's a good point.
Some
Zora,
people just have,
sorry, you can finish your point.
some people just have this perceived notion that every celebrity is good or every singer is good just because of something that they've learned or something like that. People need to see the truth. Not everybody's that good. There's only some people.
Those are some good points you guys brought up. Zora, do you have something to add in connection to this?
Yeah, so I kind of lost track in the conversation now. Were we talking about teachers or like the values and morals now? Because
You
I
can
heard Ajit
take
mention
take
celebrities.
it in any direction you want to. You could take it towards
I think it's
values and
both.
morals if you want.
No, either
Yeah, I'll,
way.
I'll bring it back to like the teachers a bit. So what do you call it? I think it's the mentality in which they approach us us as a youth. We see them as an authority figure, and of course we're bound to look up to them or bound to, I guess, listen to them and pay attention. And what they do with that attention is what changes whether or not they become a good role model or a bad role model. And it can really just change your perception on how we perceive um, the grown up life to be. As if they say, what do you call it? If they assign us us things and don't really help us out in it, we may think that that's just the way that life goes, and it can change our annotation of life.
That's a really good point that you bring up. And I think that all the points that you brought up about
Well,
teachers are really good because I found that anytime that there's an adult who's sort of maybe outside of your family but is helping lead you in some way, that could be a teacher, that could be maybe like someone who leads a club. Sometimes there's both. Sometimes your coaches, sometimes anyone who is in a position where they're leading youth or younger people or impressionable people, they can have a huge impact. Like I've seen a lot of like maybe sports coaches or dance coaches, right? They can have a huge impact besides just teaching you the strategies or whatever. They could teach you a lot of values and a lot of, leadership, uh, morals, integrity, respect, right? How to model your life, how to stay on a good path. I think that there's a lot of good stuff that you had there to unpack. And Zora, when you brought up the point about being authority figures, that reminds me of something, and I'm trying to find it right now. I wrote it down in my notes, but there's like an evolutionary perspective where uh, I have it written here. We generally prioritize information given to us by like people who we look up to, and I think that that's why it's really important to choose your role models wisely. But as I think Anaam and Adhrit were saying, you were talking about like celebrities and how you sort of have to pick them, like who are the good and who are the bad, right? Like Adhrit was saying. And
yeah.
what are your guys' stances on like looking up to maybe athletes or artists or politicians or
Um,
whoever? Adhrit, seems like you have something to say.
yeah. Yes. I think it's like the same general perspective along with like teachers. It's the same way you look at it. That there's clearly some good ones and some bad ones. You just gotta find out which is which, and that's a problem. Like in rap, I'm just gonna use rap as an example because it's the most common one. Like gang violence and stuff, being a part of a gang, doing all this like illegal activity is pretty like how do I say this? It's pretty common in rap. It's like looked up to in a sort of a way. Like it's good that you're doing all this stuff. That's how it makes it seem
Glorified.
in there. Yeah, it's glorified. That's where I was looking for. It's glorified, and that's a bad thing because a lot of impressionable people. There are a lot of people that don't have like that sense to just know that something is wrong. They may just think something's good because this guy's rapping about it, or they may just look up to someone because they're cool, right? Because they have all this money, they have all these people around them that it seems like they have a fun lifestyle, even though what they're inherently doing could be really bad or just not morally correct at all.
That's a really good point. You guys have something you want to add on to that?
A lot of like for myself, many people like they don't dislike, but there's gonna be people around you that say, "Oh, why do you look up to this certain artist?" But like for myself, yeah, I like BTS, right? I've been listening to them for a long time, yeah, K-pop group. And I even learned Korean like over the few years because I started when I was like 7 years old or something. And it's like I look up to them because I saw their hardships and everything and how they like persevered, and who they are now is because of all their hard work, and they didn't stop even though like there were so many times there were downfalls, but they didn't stop. At one time they were giving free tickets to their concert when they came to USA so that people could just come watch them, right? So they weren't making any profit then. So like for me, I see that they've been working hard. I need to work hard for what I want to achieve, like my dreams, what I want to do. You're always gonna have to work hard and like persevere because it's not gonna be like a straight road you just walk down. There's gonna be like times where things aren't going the way you want it to go away, like the way you want it to go. So like there and like I look up to BTS for that reason. But there's gonna be people like, why are you looking up to that person? And sorry, and they're gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't be looking up to that person because you don't even understand what they're saying, and which I definitely dislike. It's like, why even saying that? It's my role model. But then at times they might be correct if you're like looking up to this artist which is not doing things correctly and you're vulnerable and you're going to be like, oh, I should do that too. So it's like a 50-50 thing. Like, you know someone's good and you want to follow them, but then maybe you're following someone that's not a good, like, what do you say? An influence. And someone tries to tell you, don't follow them. So it's like a very sticky situation, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Zora
Yeah,
or Adhrit, you have something to add
yeah,
on?
yeah,
Great summary, dude. Yee.
Yeah,
yeah,
not really.
yeah.
I think Manny summed it up pretty well. The way she
Manry.
incorporated all of her points. I'm
I'm
sorry.
Oh,
Manry.
Did I say
Let's
This
Manny?
go.
this guy had
Let's
a
go.
I'm so sorry.
this guy had
Manry.
identity
Manny's a role
crisis.
model of mine. Manny's a role
oh
model of
yeah, yeah.
mine, which she came
Yo,
on the topic because
yeah. Like,
I'm done.
see, look, this is another point. You know, people like 1 year older than you, or someone like you meet in high school could be a role model, right? Like, look at Anaam, man.
Yeah,
Pretty
dude,
crazy role model.
dude,
Even
that's
Manry's like, come on, man. So much stuff she's done. Pretty
yeah, man.
iconic role model.
You know what's crazy about that though? Like outside of jokes, Devin and I, and even my sister, we were talking last time when we were on a podcast. And shameless plug. Make sure you go check out the previous podcast if you have not heard our previous
Yeah, I'm
episodes.
on it.
Shame
I'm
Uh,
on it. I'm in Devin's background. Watch out.
he's
I'm
just standing
joking.
behind him, like handing him
I'm
lines
the
to read
audio
out.
man. I'm the
What
audio
this
man.
guy's Devin's ghostwriter. No, but actually, on the topic of looking up to people who are the same age as you, and I think you guys were on in the middle of a point, so I'll let you continue after. But
Yeah.
um, like we were talking about how the topic was like age, maturity, and my sister brought up a really good point. A person's not defined by their age; they're defined by their character. And so we were talking about how, like I was saying, I look up to both of them, even my younger sister, as well as Devin, because it doesn't matter if they're younger than you or they're the same age as you, right? Um, it's about the traits that you value in a person, right? Like your friend could be someone who you look up to and you value because they're like an inspiration because they're accomplishing a lot of stuff. I think that it all depends on what you look for, right? And it can be tough, honestly. A lot of times we're really misguided. We don't know what we're looking for. We're searching for something outside because we're trying to find it in ourselves, right? So I guess it has a lot to do with finding the right type of role model who has the right traits. Uh, but I think that Adrit, Zora, you guys had something you wanted to connect to about Anam's point about positive and negative role models.
Yeah,
Oh,
so what I was saying was that Anum summed it up pretty nicely. She was able to incorporate all of her points, and I didn't really have much to add, but she had a little something to say about that. I did too, but I kind of forgot after you started speaking. I'm sorry.
oh, you want me to continue? Oh, I said you can look up to the same people your age because sometimes you just like a person's character or something like that. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than you or something like that. You could just like a person and look up to them as a person because they have good characteristics or good morals. And that's why I think even the word role models is like glorified because some people I don't look up to as role models. I just look up to them because well, you can call them a role model, but I wouldn't call them that. I just look up to them because they're good people. No.
That's uh sorry, I'm just taking this down as notes because I'm gonna want to put the teaser up later. But I just wrote what you said. I wrote it down. The term role models being glorified. That's really interesting. By the way, it's gonna be funny if like people who are listening, we generally don't like mention that many names of people who are just like obscure. They're gonna be so confused when they're hearing this and they're like, "Oh, who's Manri?"
Let's name drop everybody in the school.
Literally.
Great idea. No, no, no. She's gonna be so
No, but I
like
look,
she's gonna be so
you know,
like
I,
flattered if
yeah,
she
wait,
hears this episode.
yeah. You're so flattered. Hey, yo, man,
You
you're
are
really a model student, though.
I thought you were actually gonna start name dropping people.
No. But like, another person I look up to is like, I wouldn't say look up to, but like, I respect what he's doing. Success benefit. I really like the entrepreneur stuff, man. Seems pretty cool. Seems like a cool concept.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's cool to see someone else like venturing into social media and actually creating a name for themselves, success benefit, and it's nice to
Oh
see.
my god, guys, I'm sorry. There's a spider on my wall. I gotta do
Fight
something.
the spider. But I
More
want to
double
say to
cup for a
Adhrit,
Slurpee.
when he was saying, "Oh, they're not role models," like it's glorified. But I would say like I like appreciate things some people do. I think that's what it would be. Like
It's
Manri, I appreciate how hard she works.
Yeah, it's more about
So yeah,
appreciation.
it's like appreciation. That's what I would say. That like I have my role models, and there's like people I appreciate.
yeah,
Yeah,
guys. This spider's scaring me. Wait up. I gotta.
Yeah, because you can
fight
appreciate
spider.
Mandy
It's
and
gonna
you don't
fall right on
necessarily.
top of my bed
Okay,
if I
okay,
don't
keep
kill
up.
it.
Watch
I
this
like
Okay,
guy
good
basic.
turn.
enough.
Watch this guy
Uh,
turn into the brown Spider-Man. Then you get like the Hindi Spider-Man theme song.
the
Literally,
Spider-Man. 10 times the power, man.
Movie editing skills.
fight the spider already. Stop screaming.
It's right there. I don't want to chuck my slipper at it yet. What the fuck?
Yet,
Kill
the
Yet,
fact that that
yet.
the fact that that crossed his mind.
No, I missed it. See, look, this is what happened.
Yo, why is this turning into like a gameplay video of ours?
Turn your camera on. Turn your camera on.
But
Yo,
Turn the
fight the
camera on.
spider already. Stop being such a scaredy cat.
but
Do you see me?
Yes,
anyways,
we see you.
Yes,
I
I
should
do.
I should probably get back to the point that I forget what the
Wait
point
up.
was that I was gonna make. It was
I'm liking.
I think I
Oh my
think I
god, that's
Anam,
such a
did you guys?
beautiful spider. Go eat it.
I'm
Don't
sorry,
lie
guys.
to me. I
I'm
know
on.
you want it.
Just take a pause. Just take a pause on the podcast, man.
Wait,
Holy shit, I keep missing.
Oh my god, Adhrit.
I missed it 7 times. Armaan, I'm very sorry for this, but I'm not gonna. Okay, it's dead.
He's literally having a mental breakdown right now. Are you okay? I have my first aid training. Do you need CPR? Are you conscious?
Oh my god,
Can
it's on my bed.
You lick it. I dare you to lick it.
I'm dead.
okay, should I start it?
Yeah, man.
Okay, hold yeah, man. So I'm not exactly sure. There's a bunch of stuff in the middle that we had to cut out. We had some like escapades right there. I can't
Oh, you
exactly
could
remember.
add that. Add that. You could. Oh, so
I
should I
can't.
inform the audience what happened?
No, should we, or do you want to leave it? Do you want to give an
Yeah, yeah,
abridged version? I don't know. It's up to you.
yeah. Yeah, okay, so basically there's a spider on the wall, guys. Pretty big spider. Oh my god, I was so scared. It's right on top of my bed. I checked my slipper at it like 7 times, and the 8th time I finally hit it. I slammed it like 7 times on my bed just to make sure it was dead. Now I have to clean. Now I have to switch out my sheets.
Don't lie, Adhrit. You licked the spider as well? Tell
Yeah,
them the
yeah, for
truth.
sure, man. For
You
sure.
licked the spider.
That's what I was thinking. Oh my god, why did I do that? Let me go fish it out of the garbage. No, okay, let's go back to the podcast.
So I think that I'll probably go back to. I don't know if I'm repeating the same thing. I think that I'm probably repeating the same thing, so I'm not going to touch on it too much about being able to look up to people who are even your age. And I think it was interesting when you specifically said that you don't view someone like you're not looking up to a role model. You just look up to them, like you see inspiration around you. And I think
Yeah.
that that's really, it's really interesting. And I think that,
Some
yeah,
like you know why I say don't look up? Because it's like easier to become closer to that person or adapt some of the values that they have, not like steal what they have. Like
yeah,
obviously they're a different person, but it's way easier to learn from that person because they're so close to you. Whereas a role model, I think that's someone who's it can be your parents, it can be someone that's close to you, but to me, a role model could be someone who's like at a point in life where you want to be, not like someone who's just there who like you just appreciate. Like you get it? Or do I?
yeah. I think that if you want to go into more detail, you can, but I think I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Like okay, LeBron James, like he's a billionaire now, right? That's
Yeah,
someone who I would consider a role model, or someone like my dad who's like very hardworking or something like that. That's a role model because they've done things that I want to do, and they like become a person that I truly look up to. Not like people our age, because we still all of us still have a lot of growing to do, and we don't know where we're gonna end up, right? That's why
yeah,
I can't say role models yet until you've like lived out most of your life and you've achieved a good place where you want to be in life, like a place where you want to be in life. That changes for everyone. For you, it could be to get money. For you, it could just be happiness, live a normal life. Your choice.
I think that it clicked for me what you're saying. That's pretty cool how you phrased it. That um, someone who is where you want to be or has something you want to attain, basically between you and them, there's a roadmap out there, or maybe you have to blaze your own trail, but like you see kind of like an end destination and you can
Yeah,
model after them. That's a role model,
yeah,
like someone you said is older than you, or like has maybe theoretically they could be similar age to you, but they're further ahead, right? Versus what you said about
yeah,
it's so much easier to adopt values if you get close to a person is a really good point, because that's something that I keep firmly in mind, and that's something I take to heart whenever I try and mentor like someone who's younger than me, or if it's like in a club or like in a team or something, someone who's younger than me, and I try to like just take them under my wing in some way. I just feel like rather than trying to, teach them everything and give them all the life lessons, just build that relationship with them first, right? Because I feel like you're more likely to take genuine advice from someone if you already have that relationship. Like if your close friend sits you down, they're like, you know, you just have a real conversation with them. I feel like many times you can get more out of that than someone who just tries to approach you from a perspective of, let me teach you everything, right? And I think that that's a connection that I had to what you said about just
mhm,
the power of relationships, like being able to adopt and like model those values. You know what I mean?
yeah.
This is so
See,
true because I wanted to like say something like when I joined
mhm,
robotics in our school, one of like someone I appreciate a lot is like Cushy because
yeah.
she like I got to get like I'm like I treat her like a
Fast
sister
food
now.
worker.
Um, yeah. So she
Can't
like
disclose the location.
stop for treat. So like I get to
Disclose.
like look like I appreciate her a lot because I saw what she did and she's so hardworking and I'm like I whenever I'm stuck on something, even with like when I was applying to university and stuff, I asked her questions because I feel more comfortable asking her than some other like just emailing the university when you should do that, but when you get more advice or like you get to talk with someone, and sometimes it's hard to talk with family than a friend or someone you're closer to. So like I really appreciate Cushy because she's done so much for me, and we were able to like she was an alumni. She's supposed to like teach me and everything, but she rather connected a bond, which actually is worth more than just teaching me and leaving. You know, that's
Yeah,
why.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just something I
Yeah.
wanted to add is I feel like one thing that I really value, and I've realized in like Zora, you can share your point as well after this, but what I've realized is a massive like necessity for someone to actually like you can't control whether someone will like value you, right? Because at the end of the day, it's their choice if they want to make you their role model. You can't assert yourself as their role model, right? You can just be the best person you can be and try and help out. But I think that leadership by example is important because you could say all of this stuff, right? I've seen countless people and I've heard of examples. Like you obviously can't believe everything you hear, but it makes sense logically. You hear examples of people trying to teach younger kids or be mentors, right? And they don't do the same stuff that they preach. Like, what is the point of that? How can I respect the
Hypocrites.
how can I respect the word of someone who essentially just they tell you what to do, but they don't actually follow through with what they're saying, right? And I don't know, Zora, what would you say in connection to the topic of like advice from like I guess role models? What would you say?
Yeah, I think what you said was very true. Oops,
Yeah,
my
I think
computer got
very true, very
messed up
true.
once again. Um, yeah, so your points were very effective, but I'd say I
Effective.
really resonated with when you said that you can't really assert yourself as a role model,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's that's when you separate like the fake helping out and the real helping out, and
Feel that, feel that.
yeah, there's like a bee chasing you, so it's kind of scary, but I'm surviving.
Yo, we're all getting attacked by insects. What is this? Come on.
Yeah, man.
What's that?
Watch just like a murder hornet just pull up in my room right now. Knock on wood. I don't want that
Yeah,
to
man.
happen. I don't want that to
A
actually happen.
tarantula's. Yeah, there's a
Tomatoes.
tarantula under my printer. I gotta fight this. Wait up.
What's a murder hornet?
Oh, it's a
It,
big wasp.
Yeah, I was gonna say a hornet that murders, but like this is a
Yeah,
very apt
literally though.
description.
You can be a murderer. Hornet. Oh,
No, I could take it easy.
take it off.
I can just imagine Zora just trying to square up to the murder hornet and just like missing every single punch. You could take 100 punches and just miss every single one of it.
I'm gonna. Yeah, you're gonna injure your hand trying to do that, man.
Yeah,
One
but
Nah,
shot.
like if you
Anam,
actually think about it though,
yeah.
the chances of me taking it is very high.
But to go back onto the topic, Anam, do you have whoever wants to add on to that point? What would you say?
Well, what point? Which
Good point.
I
I
can't.
don't think we have a point to add to. I think that takes us into our next idea where uh I think that we were talking about before how celebrities can be viewed as role models, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes because of this, because of like, you know, how society gets so fascinated with celebrities, and what I've researched is actually pretty
Uh-huh.
interesting that the concept of celebrities is not something new, right? Even in like the Roman times, the gladiators were basically the superstars and people just looked up to them, right? So it's kind of an element of like, you know, human culture and like society for centuries, you know, millennia. But you know how a lot of people not only look up to to celebrities, but they get viewed in a different way, almost as if they're like they get viewed as, you know, superstars, but they're almost viewed other than human. Like they're these like grand beings,
What?
and so when people think, oh,
Oh,
I see this person in
yeah, yeah,
public, right? They're like, oh my God,
yeah.
I gotta get a picture, I gotta get an autograph, right? Which I guess you could understand because it's like someone who you look up to, but when it comes to the topic of like the athlete who is humble and never wanted to get the fame. They just wanted to make the NBA or NHL, or the singer who just wanted to make music. But now they have everyone. They can't go out to the grocery store without getting, you know, noticed. They can't go for a walk with their family. What is your guys' opinion on like how some of those celebrities who are just trying to go about
Oh,
the job, but they're in the public eye? How do you feel about that?
I
um,
think sorry, I'm gonna chime in before. I think I don't know. The question was a bit misleading because like all
yeah,
that you talked about.
yeah.
Sorry,
Actually, I kind of
I can,
like the gladiators. Like you mentioned so much about the gladiators, and then you
sorry,
led to just a simple little
Got caught up in the
question.
traffic. Caught up.
I can try and rephrase it. I guess like
No, no, no.
uh,
I think we got it. I think we got it. I think we got it. I think Zora, you got it, right?
Yeah, I got it. No stress. No stress,
Come
man.
on. Could I like articulate what you're
I'm
trying
gonna
to say?
actually.
Because I think I got it.
uh I don't know,
Just to see it from
whichever
another
one of you wants to
perspective.
go first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I meant like I think you're trying to say that some people do it because they love the craft of what they're doing. So like singers and basketball players, they just truly love singing or truly love basketball,
Not just them,
and
right?
then yeah, like anybody. That's just to name an example or something like that.
Yeah.
But basically, those guys didn't chase the fame. They chased their dream of playing basketball professionally and being like a really good player. At first, I don't know if you know like LeBron's whole story, but I think that's an example of that is LeBron James. Because before Space Jam 2, which like just came out, he like never wanted this media stuff anything to do with it. You can even see in his like previous interviews, all he wanted to do was what what else? Um all he wanted to do was play basketball and be like the best he could instead of trying to become a social media celebrity like half the basketball players this day. That's a bad thing, you know, because it ruins so many of these good sports and stuff that ruined by celebrities. Like not real celebrities, but like people who just leave what they actually came here for. Like I've seen this a lot in basketball again. Some players just don't care about the game. They just care about money or care about the media. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
Yeah,
But
I can
I
chime in on
was.
that though.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, like a lot of players make it out from like unfortunate places and make it to the top, and they're genuinely doing it for the love of the game. And I don't know if you know, but a lot of players make it from the bottom and make it to the top. They're generally doing it for their love of the game. And I don't know if you know this player, but they made it, I'd say, decently far in the playoffs. LeBron James, um, his underrated. He's pretty underrated, and I'd say his story is very, I think, remarkable. And you could tell that he genuinely does it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. those are good points you touched on about like LeBron, someone who is trying to focus on his passion, but then, like you said, other than Space Jam, he just sort of wanted to play basketball, do some initiatives to help, with his I Promise school, help some kids get education, but not too much other than that. You know what I mean? But Anam, what would you say with regards to celebrities and like all the attention they get, sometimes the unwanted attention? What would you say?
With like celebrities, like you could say, like if you know you're gonna be on the TV, like they should get a sense that yeah, people are gonna be after them. They're gonna be like, if they see you, they're gonna be like, oh, can we get your autograph? Can we get a photo and stuff like that? It's just the nature of like humans. That's what they do. Like if they see someone they really like, they want a photo or something as a memory. Yeah, basketball players or like MMA players or anything like that. Even like WWE, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
Wherever you
John
want.
Cena, Randy Orton. Let
No.
me keep on naming Hulk Hogan.
um,
Yeah,
like
continue.
for example, my favorite is Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Right? He was in WWE and then now he's an actor. Right? If I see him, I'm gonna say hi and be like, "Oh my god, I like love your movies and like I've watched
The
you since I was
Rock,
a child."
Yeah,
The
yo,
Rock,
if
right?
I see Randy Orton, I'm gonna get RKO'd by him.
Tom Cruise,
I
Saw that
want to
coming.
get
But like,
RKO'd.
DiCaprio,
it's just a thing. Like, if you're gonna be on television, the
Scarlett
people should
Johansson,
The fame
know.
comes with it.
But people, as human beings, we should have the common
Michael
sense to
Jordan.
not disturb, guys, not to
Yeah.
disturb their peace. Like they're human beings as well. It's wrong if we just go in and start disrupting them on a day where they just want to relax. We should accept when they say, "Oh, not today. I'm not feeling well," or something like that. If they say, "I don't want to take any photos or anything," like although you adore them as like a role model and everything, you have to respect their personal space as well because you would want that yourself if you were a celebrity or anything. You would want your personal space as well, and just be a normal human being. Go outside, get ice cream if you want, anything like that. Not just stay locked up in your house because you're afraid that some random crazy fans are gonna come attack you. Because that's not cool, you know?
No, but hey, that's one of the. I mean, wait, I lost my train of thought. Why am I doing this? Okay, never mind.
That's one of
And
the.
then, oh, what's it called? That's one of the flaws. Not even the flaws. You just know if someone's famous, or if you're like really good at something and you're gaining attraction. You should just know at that point that fame's gonna come along with it. There's nothing you can
Yeah,
do to stop it.
literally. It's like, it's of course, but they still want to be human beings, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're gonna be famous. People are gonna come after you, but at the end of the day, the people that are the fans should understand that they're humans as well. And lots of fans don't still understand that. They're just like, oh yeah, they're famous. I want a photo, right? But they
like
don't
yeah,
think about how
those.
their day is.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's another topic. Fans, crazy fans, people that like devote their life to role models. Literally, what's the point of doing that? You're ruining your own life just to follow someone else's path. I don't think that's cool at all. I think that's down bad, as the young ones say. Down
But,
bad.
dude, I don't think we can really put down someone's real life. I don't think we could ever put down someone and do that,
Okay,
though.
yeah, I can't put that down, but I just don't support what they're saying. Okay, if you
Yeah,
know
that's pathetic.
if you know like a singer and you really aspire to like meet that person or like be that person or be somewhat close to that person, like what are you doing? Like they're just a role model. They're just a person. You can meet them, but what's the point of going overboard and doing all this stuff? Like you know what I'm talking about? Those crazy fans.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
fans that just
they're like
have
the
no
diehard
limit.
fans,
They have
and
like
they're
no,
like,
not even Die Hard. Die
I
Hard, you
want
can
to
just
be that person.
yeah,
No,
like
you should be
I want to like
yourself.
marry this person just because there's this
Yeah, like
person
I'm
you've
a
never
crazy
once
Selena
met
Gomez
them.
fan, but I don't really go crazy about trying to become her and getting plastic surgery to become Selena Gomez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I like Taylor Swift, 6 songs, but like, I don't wanna become Taylor Swift. Like, it's cool if I see her. Pretty cool thing if I see her. It's not like I'm gonna sacrifice parts of my life to go become her,
Adhrit,
to be with her.
what about Mariah?
Crazy.
What about Mariah Carey, bro? Remember we started playing those
Nah,
Mariah
nah.
Carey songs out of nowhere?
Mariah Carey, obviously, man. I gotta sacrifice my whole life to her, man. Absolutely.
But
I
Zora,
can't. I can't stop.
Zora, what were you? I think you were gonna get into something further before about like I'm not sure what it was, but what was the point that you were gonna make?
I didn't really make a point. I was just commenting on that about how he was saying they devote their lives to certain things. And so I was just mentioning that, like Selena Gomez, I'm a crazy Selena Gomez. Some so sorry for using the word crazy, but like Selena Gomez, I'm a great. I'm sorry.
You're a fan, right? Is that what you meant to say?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My lag. Yeah, and it doesn't mean go get surgery to look like her, right? And that's where we need to create the border of separation, like the line of separation.
I think that that's like uh it's unrealistic, right? People are just worshiping these people. They're almost turning them into like deities or symbols, right? Um, to connect to what you guys were saying, I think that the contrast between the points that Adrit and Anam were making was interesting, where Anam was
Mhm.
saying like you want to be a human being, right? Where she said like um you understand, like say if you're gonna be like an actor or something, like in on TV, on social media, you have a feeling that someone will probably see you, right? But at the same time, you want to have like personal space. Whereas Adrit was also bringing up the point of like you also have to understand that it comes as like a downfall in today's society that people will want to try and see you. But what I was thinking is just that's like a societal norm that we have, right? That's the way that society has
What is
become. Just the
what's a
whole
society?
idea. The Are you asking what is the societal norm or which one?
Yeah, I'm like
Societal
confused. Which one?
societal norm is kind of like just a way that has come to be accepted in
No, no, no. I
society.
know what the word means.
Oh, okay.
I'm like directly talking about which one you meant.
Yeah, I figured you knew what societal norms mean. I was referring to the whole idea of even if it's like a really old norm, like I said, going back to like gladiators and stuff, the old norm that like people just idolize and worship, or even the idea that celebrities or these like big supposedly like superstar people are held in such high regard, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to phrase it. I
Oh,
understand
it's a norm? Oh, I
uh,
don't. Yeah, I guess it's a norm that people would look up to celebrities, but I don't think it's. What I was saying with the super crazy fans, there's like a select few people, man. Like barely any. I'm
ye-
like probably like
Oh my
10% of all
And
god.
the
there's
fans.
nothing wrong with
I
being
have
one, though.
an
That's the thing.
example. Oh my god, let me say this.
I
So
think
like
Anam's an exception.
no, I'm not.
BTS
But
calls it?
no, I don't got anything there. Nothing, nothing. Um, it's just all their albums. Not even all their albums. It's just a few, and they were all
Oh,
gifts,
yeah.
so that doesn't count. But yeah, related to BTS, there's this this crazy fan, who wants to look like one of the members, Jimin, and he
Oh,
got plastic
London?
surgery. Oily London guy. He
Oily London. No, Oily London. Don't
no,
disrespect my idol
he's
like that.
oil.
I'm j-
I'm kidding. The guy, right? His name, whatever. But now he got plastic surgery done and is just changing his whole face, getting a whole reconstructed and everything just to look like that one member. See,
yeah.
that's extreme. You're changing your whole identity and everything for that one person. Like look up to them and all, but it's like, wouldn't that like role model you're looking up to be kind of like terrified or freaked out as well? Be like, what's happening? Someone's trying to look like
yeah.
me? Because that's
Yeah.
kind of
Someone
odd,
trying to
right?
become me? Someone trying to take over me? Oh,
But
that's
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
keep on going.
So yeah, do you
Oh,
want to continue?
I got something to
Because
add.
I was
You
gonna
know
say
this.
that Zora had something he was gonna say, then Adrit could finish.
What's it to Okay.
Yes, what I had to say was that I didn't have anything to say. I don't know what you're saying.
Wait, what? I thought
You
you.
didn't have anything to say. Because I didn't hear him talk
Okay,
for the longest time. So
I didn't say
I just
anything.
went,
yeah, Adrit. Sorry, you continue.
yeah. I was talking about how there's super fans, but there's also the super haters. It reminded me of Skip Bayless. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Because I'm a LeBron hater. It's kind of like this. Oh my god. Okay, there was this one podcast with Skip Bayless or something. Not even podcast, just like newscaster, right? He attacks Space Jam 2 for not being realistic. He's like, LeBron, he can never make that dunk in real life. Like, yo, being a super hater is just as bad as being a super fan. You're devoting your whole life to hating someone. I think that's even worse than being a fan. At least you like them. This one, you're just hating on whatever they do. It doesn't matter what good they've done. LeBron's not the GOAT. LeBron's not the GOAT. Anything LeBron does, even his 3-1 like defeat against the Golden State Warriors, that was even like looked down by Skip Bayless. He's like,
As a victory, yeah.
Michael Jordan could have done that in his prime. Michael
You know,
Jordan isn't in his prime. LeBron.
that's
They
Even though he's
just
like
need
50
they just need to
basically.
accept the
But
fact that LeBron James is simply better than Michael Jordan. Like, what
yeah,
can we say? Michael Jordan can't play in the LeBron era. LeBron can
yeah,
play in the Michael Jordan era.
or
yeah.
even
But
yeah,
Skip Bayless,
yeah,
it's like he's discrediting everything. That's what a super hater is. You discredit everything. It doesn't matter what you've done. If there's super haters out there, there is for everybody. Like it doesn't matter. Any celebrity at least has one. The yeah,
yeah.
every
Like
celebrity at least has one. That they will discredit anything they do. There's nothing you can do to change their opinion.
yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, I just got caught up. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you brought up there. That that is true. Like the expression rent free. Like this person's living
Yeah.
rent free in your head. It's um like no disrespect to Skip Bayless, but ultimately, I guess what he's doing is he
I
is
don't.
like he what he's doing is he's just like putting this like negativity towards LeBron, right? And I don't agree with that because it's like the expression rent free. You're just letting this person occupy so much headspace in your mind.
Uh-huh.
Um, but what I was what I was gonna say before that was like with regards to celebrities, it's not even about the super haters or the super fans. You know what I mean? Or the extreme people or the people who are crazy. What my perspective is, even just the average person. Like I remember reading something how it's so much more convenient for people to want to talk about, celebrities or to want to learn about celebrities or hear about them, read about them versus something more not even academic or studious, but just something that requires more thought because those things are regarded as kind of small-minded things, whereas learning about bigger topics or uh, other stuff, putting your time towards learning new things is more of a, I guess, quote unquote, bigger minded stuff, which is, I don't fully understand that topic in all honesty. But what I will
Uh-huh.
say is like, just out of convenience, people just wrap their head around celebrities just because like I feel as though people just try to live through them, or they just don't really try to pursue. Um, this is a common thing that I've seen that people just try to live through celebrities rather than trying to pursue out like their own certain goals. And what would you guys say about that?
Yeah, that's back to. I think we already discussed that. Back to super fans, super haters. Just indulging yourself into a celebrity, literally hibernating within their embodiment that they left in society and never leaving. It's yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, yeah.
I feel like I know that this would be really difficult to change in society, right? But I just wonder if it's possible to have a world where many people seem to care about celebrities, and I don't mean care as in like hate on them or completely disregard them, but it's just like I wonder if it's possible to have a world where we just go about what we're doing and like celebrities are just viewed as you might think, okay, this person has worked incredibly hard as like an athlete or a politician, or they've done really well as a business person, they've whatever it is, right? But we just view them as their equals, where we could get to a point where it's like you can walk by them on the street, and this brings back something that I was going to say about Anam's point. Like, yeah, if you meet like The Rock on the street, what I would do is if I if I just get a sense that he's like not in a bad mood, I might I'll walk up to him on the street, obviously after the pandemic and when it's safe, right? And shake his hand and be like, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a big fan of yours." Rather than being like, "Oh, can you take a photo with me? Can you sign this autograph? Can you do this?" Right? I feel as though tying it back to what Anam said, and we can move past this point if it's like rehashing the same point too much. But I just feel like we should view celebrities more as humans, especially the ones who want to be viewed as humans. Does that point make sense?
Oh, Anam, you want to say something? You can go first.
I don't know. It's just like we already talked about it and all. Like, yeah, it's just, but we won't be in a world like that. Realistically, you won't be able to be in a world like that because there's always people that you know
What you what you
will do
said
something.
about like people like kind of view themselves as superhuman. Like so you said celebrities don't do that, but I've seen a lot of celebrities who go into that god complex where they just think they're unstoppable and undefeatable, and they're like inherently better than everybody. I can't. Does anybody know like a direct name of a person who does that? This person who goes into this god complex where they think they're the best ever.
Jake Paul.
Not sure.
Yeah, that guy, Jake Paul. He's in a god complex. He's trying to verse like the best fighters in the world just because he's won a few fights against some low level people. Like, bro, he beat Ben Askren. Like, that guy's 50 years old and he's retired. He hasn't boxed in 10 years and you beat him, and that's a prize. You're beating like overweight YouTubers and you're trying to fucking. Oh, sorry for swearing. But you're trying to play
It's
that
fine.
off as cool.
Cancel us, man.
Censor me.
That's a good point.
Oh, another person that does that, even though I like KSI has a god complex. I'm not even gonna lie, he has a god complex. But the thing is,
I
he
can argue with that.
no, have you not seen his music videos? He thinks he's like a god in this world, basically. But okay, even though he has that complex, unlike Jake Paul, he actually puts in the time and dedication, and he's being a good person. He doesn't like act like a. I would say the word douche because Jake just flaunts it. Like he uses it to put you down. He's like, "I did this. Have you ever done this?" KSI's just like he's just there. He's just trying to do his own thing. YouTube, boxing, music. He's just trying to do that and get on with his life. And he likes having that fame. But it's not like he abuses his power and he just bullies everybody around him.
There's definitely people that like use their power, you would say, like to like there's a lot of controversy because what people say online and they have a big platform can change a lot of things.
Yeah, because
Like it's
I
crazy.
don't know. You brought up a good point. You know, do you guys know who Aiden Ross is?
No, I don't know
No.
what that is.
Oh, okay, whatever. I'll explain
Just
him.
explain it. Just explain it.
Zora knows
Me
who he
neither.
is. Yeah. Yo, Zora, be quiet. You know who he is. Okay, whatever. It's a streamer, right? And I wouldn't know him without like TikTok or Instagram, but like a lot of his reels are floating around just because he makes funny content and stuff, right? Funny to some people, it can be offensive too, right? I'm not saying that what he's doing is good. I'm just saying he's there, and what he says sometimes can be so controversial, or his actions, because like he has this like fan base that's super toxic, and they go around like basically attacking other celebrities if they've ever wronged them. Like even people that he doesn't talk to or is in like a bad relationship with, they'll like go ahead and like flood their Instagram DMs and attack
So
them
right a call.
personally. Yeah, like that's I think that's his ex girlfriend. I don't know. I don't watch him. I just heard about him. But they like attack people for not being nice to this one person, and that's not God complex, but that's another thing where these people have so much power that they'll like do stuff without even thinking about it, and they could like hurt the wrong person.
It's crazy because you would see a post made by an influencer, and it's like when you look at it, you're like, "What the hell? That's totally messed up." But it's like, yeah, a few people might agree with you, but like their fan base is gonna be like, "No, what they said is correct. We're gonna stand by that,"
Yeah,
which is horrible
like
because
they'll blindly follow that
no,
person.
yeah, which is horrible because like there was like this actress in India, Gagna, and during the whole and it's still happening about the farmers and everything, she said something that was totally like incorrect. I don't stand by that, and I'm like, what's happening? And a lot of people, her fan base, half of her fan base was like, yeah, 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 but like a lot of her fan base did say like, no, you're incorrect, but the fan base that followed her and said it was correct was huge because India itself, it's a big population, right? And it's like you don't realize it's all across the world. It's not just like Canada, United States. You gotta think like there's a lot of influencers elsewhere, and it's like when people like get together in a sense, like it makes a huge change. And at times it may not. It depends how big the influencer is. But things that are said online, you think they get erased, but they can't. They stay floating everywhere. And it's just horrible because sometimes your words can be taken out of context as well. And it's just like be mindful of what you say online, although like even us like as kids, right, we're not big like celebrities, but you should be mindful of what you say because even if one person is influenced by what you say and it's not a like good thing, then it's just like you're creating hate that is unnecessary. Yeah. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
does that make sense? Yeah.
yeah. Zora, do you have something to add on to that point?
Uh, I was a bit lost in terms of the conversation as it like strayed into a couple of different areas, but could you just recap of it a little bit so I know what to truly comment on?
I suppose it would be more or less the fact that what you put online can have negative consequences, right? Like Anam said, even if it's just one person, you can end up negatively impacting them. And also just when people blindly support someone, regardless of the morals and the values that have been infringed upon.
Yeah, so I think when people blindly support someone, they only glorify their rights and what they do correctly, and while doing that in the process, they forget what's happening truly, and in a way they're forgiving or dismissing, not really forgiving, but dismissing all the wrongs that they've done, and so that can truly negatively affect lots of communities as the hate that they spread can be dismissed when communities are the community still receive the hate, but the people giving the hate are dismissing the fact that there's being hate given, and so it's really just buried. But of course, those communities will still feel the negativity and the animosity that they're going through. But and that's what the toxic spam pieces really do.
I think that, yeah, the commonality that I see from everything that you guys have brought up is that people online do have a big impact with what you say. Whatever you say publicly, even if you like, I don't think that everyone should have the pressure per se. Someone might say, that they don't view themselves as a role model, right? Which could be fair, but you still, in my opinion, should try and, how do I phrase this? You should still try and have positive actions, right? Especially like outwardly, because you never know, like Anam said, how you might influence someone. But also when it comes down to just blindly and like following someone, right, as a fan, I think that to tie into what you guys are saying, there's a principle that I sort of believe in, which is, of course, there might be some exceptions, like maybe close family members, but maybe even then it's not true. What I would say is always put your values above people. And if there's a person who uh, does not demonstrate a really important value or moral or ethic, then that's probably a sign that that person is not someone who you want to keep close to you or someone who you want to look up to. Or like Adhrit said, you want to get close to them and maybe pick their brain and like learn lessons from them or gain characteristics. That blindly following someone, and I don't think it is correct. And I think that you have to view someone holistically, just in connection to what you guys were saying, because
What was
sometimes
that
there'll
word?
be, sorry,
What was that word?
holistically.
Oh, so funny.
Yes, yes. But
Um, think you brought up some good points. Very true what everybody said. It's getting close to the time where I have to go. So I think this is a good note to end off. Yeah, that little
yeah,
closing speech.
The
this
little joke at
Anything
the end.
anything else
is probably a good time to end
anybody
off.
has to say?
Yeah, so I think that that concludes this episode. I think episode 12 of the Thoughts Unchained podcast.
Episode 400.
Yeah, bro, what are you
I'll
talking
be
about? We got
on it.
like 400 episodes, 100K followers, million downloads, taking over the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
Uh,
Send it to Ramon.
so I think that that wraps up this episode. We talked about a lot of stuff, a lot of topics covered,
Lots of fun,
a lot
free
of fun, yeah,
discussion, free.
free flowing. Yeah, thank you guys, Adhrit, Anam, Zora. Thank you for joining this episode.
Hey man, thank you for the
Thank you. Thank
opportunity.
you. It was very fruitful
Thank you
conversations.
I
for
like that
having
word,
us.
fruitful. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. You're always welcome to be back. We should do this another time, probably when Devin's here.
Yeah.
even more
yeah.
fruitful.
Yes.
Devin Booker.
The
We
man, the
get
myth, the legend.
Devin Booker. Yo, then I gotta. Can we get
Yo,
Trae Young?
get Devin Book,
That's really
get
what-
Devin and Devin Booker on the podcast. Yo,
Oh, I need Trae Young. I'm sorry.
you know what's,
Trae Young.
just I don't want to drag this out too much. I was talking to Devin about this recently. You know, this guy's middle name is Armani, and I'm like, that's the closest anyone will ever get to having both our names. Like, that's actually so sick. This guy's name is Devin Armani Booker.
Ooh, I got 2 minutes. sorry to do like this. I gotta go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up. Yeah. Wait, do you have to go at this moment?
Oh, like 1 minute.
Okay, yeah, we'll wrap things up. So yeah, thanks for joining, guys. That is a wrap for this episode. Make sure you check us out on Instagram at Thoughts Unchained Podcast, and make sure you check us out on Spotify. It's the exact same on YouTube. In our IG bio, we have a link to our website, which has a lot of different platforms. Google Podcasts, Amazon, TuneIn. We have some SoundCloud.
Jeff Bezos.
Man, imagine we get Jeff Bezos to just hop on, give his like
Jeffrey,
5-second ad lib at the beginning. But yeah, I think that
Funny,
brings a wrap to our podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for joining, and thanks to everyone who has listened to this episode. You're a legend if you sat through this 1 hour podcast. Very fun, very fruitful, as Anaam said. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Very much fun. Fun.
Very fun. Thanks
Fun,
everyone
fun
for listening.
time.
Hope you have and remember, keep your head in the clouds.